Hello, I'm Judge Alfred Swanson, Jr. I'm a sitting judge on the Circuit Court of Cook County. I was appointed just about a year and a half ago to fill a vacancy, the vacancy of Judge John Ward when he retired. I was appointed by the Illinois Supreme Court, who justices called me, asked if I was interested in appointment to the Circuit Court, and of course I said yes. And I said yes because being on the Circuit Court is a great opportunity for me to serve the people of the state of Illinois and the people of Cook County. I was brought up with an atmosphere of public service in my house. My dad worked for the state of Illinois for his entire working career, and he was an officer in the Air Force Reserve, so I was brought up with public service in the background. He was active in Kiwanis and Boy Scouts, as have I been. I've been active in my community, serving my church, my community as a village trustee, and other positions there on the local community foundation, and various positions such as that. Years ago, in another suburb, I was vice chair of the Human Relations Commission for that suburb, helping people get through those kinds of issues that come up in a growing suburban community. My first career, I was a reporter for NBC Radio here in Chicago for WMAQ. And I had great opportunities there to cover stories and report on the activities and lives of people in all corners of Chicago and Cook County and the collar counties. While working for NBC, I went to law school at night, which is a hard way to go. 4.5 years of law school education because you're only going to school part-time. After law school, I joined the Illinois Attorney General's office, where I worked for people first in the Consumer Fraud Division, helping people who felt they had been ripped off or taken advantage of by various businesses in commercial enterprises. I was also in the Charitable Trust Division after that, where I was involved in the estate portion of the Helen Brock case. So I've handled big litigation early on as an attorney. Then I went into private practice and joined several firms where for 25 years I tried cases in federal court, in state court here in Cook County, and in the collar counties. Tried a whole wide variety of cases, from personal injury cases, adversary proceedings in bankruptcy court. I was counsel to national clients on class action cases, on a patent infringement case in federal court. I've done probate litigation. I've tried cases in the collar counties, as I said, a wide variety of litigation. As a judge, of course, I started out in traffic court. That's where all new judges in Cook County start for a time. And that was a great learning experience and a great opportunity to interact with people and to make decisions and to help them through what is often a difficult time. And the only time many people actually get to court is when they're faced with a traffic ticket. Then after 4 months, or a little more on the bench, the Chief Judge, Timothy Evans, transferred me to the Chancery Division of the Circuit Court down in the Daly Center. And there I sit on a mortgage foreclosure mechanics lien call, hearing every day of the week mortgage foreclosure cases. And I was asked in a screening by the Bar Association for interview, what is the most important part of that job to me? And I was not expecting that question, but it was very, very easy to answer because I was brought up to believe in the golden rule, do unto others as you would have them do unto you. And I try to live that. And when I'm faced with homeowners who don't have attorneys, they're representing themselves, pro se is the legal term. And I can see when they step before me that there's tension on their face. They're unsure about the process. They're afraid of the prospect of losing their homes, of being put out on the street or taken away from what is the American dream of home ownership. And they're unsure about the process. How soon is this going to happen? What's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? And there's a big backlog of foreclosure cases. It's a high-volume call with more than 77,000 foreclosure cases pending right now in Cook County alone. In the few minutes I can spend with these people who are representing themselves, in explaining the process to them, pointing them to counselors we have in the foreclosure section of the Daly Center, who can advise them of the mediation program and direct them to other avenues where they can get help. If in that few minutes those people can step away from the bench, step away from in front of me, and I can see that the tension has eased on their faces, then I feel that I am doing my job right. And that's how I approach being a judge. Yes, I have to take the facts that are presented to me, and I have to apply the applicable law to those facts. But I try to do it with compassion and understanding of people's circumstances, because that is very important. And I believe in treating everybody who comes into my courtroom, and it doesn't matter who they are, what their background is, what their nationality is, their religion, or anything else. Everybody is equal when they step into my courtroom. And I treat people that way because that is the way I want to be treated. When somebody leaves my courtroom, I want them not only to feel that justice has been done, but to truly feel deep inside that they have received justice in their courtroom. And that is my goal, and that is my philosophy as a sitting judge in the Circuit Court of Cook County. Now, I've been evaluated by all the bar associations: Chicago Bar Association, Chicago Council of Lawyers, Illinois State Bar Association, Cook County Bar Association, and every other bar association that evaluates lawyers in the screening process. And I've been found qualified or recommended by every one of those bar associations. Every one of them that rates candidates for judge has found me to be qualified or recommended. Now, what's involved in that process? Those questionnaires by those bar associations are 20-plus pages long. And in those questionnaires, we have to list people we know, but we also have to list people who've been on the other side of cases from us. And those bar association investigators, and the Chicago Bar Association does a very good job, shows the Alliance of Bar Associations that the other associations belong to and work with in this screening process. They look through that and they check us out. They call the people who've been on the other side, our adversaries in prior cases. They call people we submit to them as references. They call anybody they can find, and if they can find somebody else who might know me, they call that person whether I put them on that questionnaire or not. And here's what the Chicago Bar Association had to say about me in finding me qualified for election to the Circuit Court. Judge Swanson has extensive civil litigation experience and is well regarded for his knowledge of the law, work ethic, and fine judicial temperament. That's what the Chicago Bar Association said of me as they evaluated me for election in this position, and they made that observation in the fall of 2011, just a very few months ago. I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party of Cook County, by the Independent Voters of Illinois, Independent Precinct Organization, Chicago Federation of Labor, Chicago Firefighters Union, Chicago Sheet Metal Workers Union, Local 73, and by lots of other people. I have those endorsements. But I want to tell you something else about me in handling cases that means a lot to me. And it's a case that I handled years ago as a practicing lawyer. A friend of mine came to me, and his wife was suffering from metastatic breast cancer. And the doctors had told her she's going to die in a couple of months unless she gets into a treatment program called high-dose chemotherapy, autologous bone marrow transplant, high-dose chemotherapy. 30-day window to get into that program. Well, I took that case. We filed suit against the insurance company, which didn't want to cover her expenses because they said that treatment program is experimental. But I took that case on. My colleagues at the law firm took over much of the rest of my caseload so I could devote my time to that. And on day 28 or 29 of that 30-day window, the insurance company agreed to cover her treatments. Very expensive program, intensive therapy, a long time in the hospital down at the University of Chicago Medical Center. And I'll tell you what resulted from that 2-month lifespan prognosis they'd given her without that program. She recovered well enough to return to work as a nurse in a hospital. She lived long enough to see her only child, a son, get married. She survived to see a grandchild born and to hold that grandchild before the cancer came back and took her life. Those are the kinds of cases that are important to me. And that's a case that I handled as an example. I'm active in the Chicago-Lincoln Inn of Court, one of the founding members of that inn. And I mention that because one of the founding principles, basic bedrock principles of the Inns of Court, is to improve competency in the trial practice of law and to improve on civility in the practice of law. And I'm very proud to be a part of that organization and fulfilling those goals, because those are important goals, not just in the courtroom and in the judicial context, but in our society as a whole. We need to have civility and treat people as we would like to be treated, and that is very, very important to me. As I said, I tried cases for 28 years before the Supreme Court called and offered me this appointment to the Circuit Court, which I was very pleased to accept. I felt very honored that Judge Evans, after just over 4 months on the bench, felt I was worthy of being moved to the Chancery Division and the call of responsibility that I have. I'm very honored that the Democratic Party of Cook County has endorsed my candidacy for one of the 11 county-wide vacancies. And I say that because I'm in the last of those. They list them alphabetically. I'm in the ward vacancy, and that is the last one of the county-wide vacancies, right down near the bottom of the ballot. But I'm endorsed by the Democratic Party, endorsed by Thornton and Bloom and Rich Townships, by lots of other organizations, by the Chicago Federation of Labor, by IVI-IPO, by lots of people, and recommended or qualified by every bar association that has evaluated my credentials. I'm Judge Alfred M. Swanson, Jr. My ballot number is 169, down near the very bottom of the ballot. And I have opponents. It is a contested election. So I very much ask you to check me out. Go to my website. You can get to me by Google, or it's electjudgeswanson.com is the website. Check me out. See what's there. Ask people about my record as a practicing attorney and as a judge. I invite you to do that. Check me out. And then I hope when it comes Election Day, or if you vote early, as you can start doing that, on February 27th. Vote for me, Judge Alfred M. Swanson, Jr. My ballot number is 169. Thank you very much. And I'm open. I welcome any questions anybody might have.